And we're now doing episode 24. I'm so glad you're here with us. Hello and welcome. I'm going to be your host today. I'm Marilyn Robinson, and our topic for today is safety first. So I want to introduce our two uh, participants here. So we have Irina and we have Denise, and we are going to talk about safety first. And our first question up is: are you struggling with overwhelm? Okay, now we got a different question. I'm going with the flow. Meet the host. So, um, So, why is nurturing our people, places, and things that we love important for professionals to thrive in your life and business? So, Irina, let's start with you.
Thank you for the inviting me and having me on this show. And I am Irina Strunina. I'm health strategist, and I am also the founder of the Facebook group called Diabetes 101 for Beginners. This group, in a little bit over 2 years, grew to over 100,000 members without advertising. And what we do there, we do nurture. We show our support and accountability and education and sharing opportunities and sharing knowledge and sharing everything that we learn to help others to get better after they receive the diabetes diagnosis. And what I'm saying in terms of feeling overwhelmed, we care. And sometimes this is very difficult to manage, like for me personally, to manage my personal life, because I also have family and I have other activities that I need to participate in. I have a business that I am trying to run. And then we have people. And sometimes when they post their information and you feel that you have to jump on and hold this person and help them to get better, at the same time I also know that I have to take care of my family, and I also know that podcast is coming or the conference is coming and I need to take care of this, and that may be very overwhelming. And I'm trying to do my best, and but that's the life, I guess.
Well, that was great. Wow. Yes, balancing everything that we decide to do. There is a practice that we've talked about before on some of these sessions where we talk about the ability to say no. So, Irina, I need you to start saying no to some things. No, but no, it is tough. It is a challenge. We do like to support everybody that's in our circle of influence, as that includes family, business, and friends. So, Denise, give us your insights on this.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm Denise Belil, Serenity expert. And I will piggyback on what Irina said and go a little bit another direction, because the questions say, why nurturing our people, places, things that we love important for a professional to thrive in life and business. But what I would add is what's really important is to nurture yourself, because in order to be able to nurture others, you need to be able to give yourself first. I always give the example, and everybody knows that if you travel, put your oxygen mask on before you help others. And the reason why is because if you're not okay with yourself, if you're not balanced, if you're out of whack, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you're sick, then you cannot nurture other people. So that's a very important point to remember. And especially this month being mental health awareness month, it's really important to be aware of your mental health and be whole with yourself in order to be able to support others. And then afterwards, when your cup is full and it's overflow from your own love and the care that you nurture yourself, then you give to others. And some would say it might be selfish, but it's not. You need to be in a right place in order to help others.
Great. So I want to add to that. So I'm Marilyn Robinson. I forgot to mention I'm a life navigation specialist. So this is kind of right up my alley. I do focus on helping working moms at this point in time with my Super Mom 101. It's very much focused on nurturing. I want to expand also on the nurturing our people, places, and things. These are things that bring us joy. And one of the things that Denise said is if we don't nurture ourselves, we don't have the capacity to nurture all these other things. And I think that that's something we need to teach our children, that it's okay to nurture yourself first so that you have the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation to nurture the people, places, and things that are important to have those. We can't just focus on being in business. We need to have balance in life. And we get a lot of energy and motivation from the things that we love. And that helps us perform better in our life and in our business. So I think those ladies helped us a lot and looked at it from a couple of different ways. And I'm ready for our next question. Oh, we have a Facebook user that's added. It is our nature to nurture. If we don't, we cannot fully feel fulfilled. And I totally agree. I have adult children, so I'm focusing on working moms because I want to help them. I want to nurture them to help them nurture their kids.
Yes,
Indirectly, I get to have kids again.
that's great.
So So we want to get motivated with today's focus. And our next question is why are you passionate about helping people with nurturing using your zone of genius? So Denise, we'll start with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, my zone of genius is serenity. So, in order to become more serene and peaceful in your life, you need to, as I just mentioned, take care of yourself. But then, once you are able to help others, then nurturing to help yourself, then you can nurture others. And I think it's really important to remember that, as you mentioned, Marilyn, you help mothers teach their children, right? And we're there as a guide. We're there as an example for our business, for example, to be able to support other people and nurturing them in a way is. I just had a call, actually. I'll do a. Oops, sorry. I had a call with Colleen Struby earlier this week. And she said that, when you do follow up, you need to get to know, like, and trust by people in order for them to want to do business. But then remember. So, how do you get remembered by people? Is by nurturing them. It's by giving them little attention here and a little attention them. And that's what nurturing is when it's in regard to your business. Do contact, do little follow up, go on their Facebook page, LinkedIn, and any format that they show themselves and support them and say, hey, great video, great comment. I love what you're talking here, what you're talking about here. And when you do that, then it support them into being nurtured, and then they'll want to reciprocate and look at you and say, oh, interesting, thank you for following up. Oh, what do you do? How did I die? And then you get to build a relationship with them, and then they will follow you back and they'll nurture you back. And by doing that, you can support one another, and eventually there's something magic that can happen.
Great. Well, thank you, Denise. That was wonderful. I love that. Being able to connect with people and give them that positive feeling and that positive joy. So, Irina, what would you like to add to this? Again, why are you passionate about helping people with nurturing using your zone of genius.
I
What
was
is your
thinking
zone of genius?
exactly. While Denise was answering, I was thinking, what is my zone of genius? Because of what I'm doing and where I'm showing my nurturing part is, I'm not even sure that this is zone of genius or it's just me. It's my nature. Some what the Facebook user says is it's our nature to nurture, and that's what I naturally doing. And I think most people, women especially, are in this position. So I know how it is to live with someone who has the chronic disease. I know how it's affecting the family, that particular person, but also people who surround you. And because I lived through this, I also know that it is possible to minimize or eliminate completely. And it just drives me to share with people this information. And by sharing with them this information, that this is not necessary to, thank you, Denise, to exhaust yourself to care for others. If you do take care of yourself, if you do take care of everything else, you can eliminate a lot of baggage of problems that accumulate on when we are tired and exhausted. So why I'm passionate? Because I know that it is possible. I have several examples. I see how they are doing. I'm really trying to be myself this way. I cannot say that I am an example yet, but I'm moving that direction. And I am taking care of myself to the best of my abilities. But I am a junior. I'm getting there. And when I will become an Serenity expert, I will announce it everywhere. So I will share that expertise later on as well.
All right. So I think you can consider that your a one of your zone of geniuses. I mean, you have a lot of information. I know you've helped me embrace my type 2 diabetes, bah humbug. But you bring it down to a level of it's okay. It's something that you can make progress with. You take kind of the worry out of it because you know it can be done and it can be dealt with. And I think that's part of your nurturing nature is to help people move along and be productive so that they can conquer it. So I think from my standpoint, um, my zone of genius, I love mothering. It has been one of the biggest joys of my life, one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. And I have three wonderful adult children who no longer want to be nurtured. They tolerate my hugs, they tolerate, having to text me and keep me up to date, and they occasionally let me post their pictures. But, it's been a challenge because, that nurturing still wants to exist, and so I want to be able to, help others, and by helping moms, fast track their parenting skills. So maybe they don't have to be stressed out trying to balance everything, and they can spend more time nurturing and being helpful. And so that's where I'm at in trying to use my zone of genius. And I was a working mom and I did it all. And so I have a lot to share, a lot of wisdom, um, good things to do and good things not to do. So we have some things from our Facebook group. I've noticed that a couple of comments have come in. So one Facebook viewer mentioned you need to know, like, trust, and remember. That was a capture from one of the speakers. And connections are key. So that is very true. And as Monica just told me, enough. I am enough, and I'm enough giving.
And
So,
enough giving. Yeah, that's enough.
and enough giving. Yes, stop giving. Take some time for yourself. So I think that that's true. I wish I had been trained at a young age, because I did have people in my 40s when I was working full time say, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. And to me, it was more rewarding to nurture. And so for me, taking care of myself didn't excite me. But if I had started with the behavior as a child, and so self care is something I do work with moms to teach their kids to take the time for self care. So, our next question is, to stay inspired, how has not protecting those you nurture been a problem for you in the past, and how did you overcome it? So, we'll start with Irina, even though I know she wants to sit on that question. So, how has not protecting those you nurture been a problem? And then how did you overcome it?
Wow. Well, this is actually, I don't have to sit on it. The normal reaction for me and for many moms, talking about moms, is do it myself. Don't rely on anyone. I will do that. I will take care of it. I will do the requirement, everything. So the people I nurture for will get the best care, or the best service, the best whatever it is. The problem with that is that when we do that, I am getting better at doing those things. Those people who I nurture for, they don't have that experience. And later on, if I am not there to do it for them, they will be in a much worse shape than if they were not perfect at it, but at least had experience and learned the process. So allowing them to make mistakes, to learn how doing this or that, taking care of themselves, taking care of the garden, taking care of the uh, requirement or assignments. When they learn, I can support them. I can offer them help when the help is needed, but I don't have to be an umbrella mom and cover everything for them so they are unprepared for life challenges. How do I overcome it? I really have to work on myself. I really have to remind myself about this exactly thing, that if I don't do it, if I don't allow them to experience it, they will not get better. And I want them to get better. So working on myself and allowing that sharing opportunity to get better.
Yeah, and I think adding to that we were raised, it's kind of the expectation that mom does it all. Mom takes care of everything. And I think you're right that we miss out on the opportunity to train, educate, guide, and equip people, whether it's our children or the people that we're working with. If we do too much for them, then they can't stand on their own. And I think going back to my experience with you talking about diabetes, you said everything so factual, and it's like, well, you have to do this. I can't do it for you. So, so it's like, you're a guide, and you nurture through your guiding, and you provide information, and you provide support and encouragement, and that's the same kind of thing that we need to do for our children. We need to take the opportunity, to educate and guide them. We have to, it's tough because we can always do it better. We can always do it, really, are they going to do it, or are they going to make more of a mess? I'm thinking cleaning house. But the fact is that it's like anything. The more they do it, the better they'll get. And I taught my kids how to do their laundry at 10. And when my son went away to college, he was like, "Hey," he sent me a text and he goes, thank you for teaching me how to do laundry. I'm watching these guys and they're ruining their clothes. Oh my gosh, they don't know what they're doing. I appreciate you, Mom." And I was like, you know, who would think that they'd get a text from their son about laundry? But I mean, that's the thing we need to understand, that it hurts us not to take care of everybody and protect them, but we have to step back and realize that we also have an obligation for them to learn and have lessons. So, Denise, I'll turn it over to you to add some more.
Thank you. So I'll take it in a little bit different direction as um, when I first start coaching, I used to tell people what to do. So in that sense, it was not really nurturing them. I was just controlling the flow of our coaching. And what I realized over time is that they were not growing, because I felt that when coaching is something that the client, the person that being coached, has to come up with the answer. And that's something I learned. And how I overcome it is I let them trip over themselves. I let them make decisions that were not necessarily moving in that direction that they wanted to go, but by guiding them and bringing them back. But I had to let them make those decisions. And eventually they come up with the right answer for them, and not where I want them to go, but where they need to go for themselves. Because people, when they're being told or when they're being directed, they're not growing. They need also to learn by themselves. And that's what I experienced. And that's how I overcome it when I was doing the coaching initially. And now I'm more listening, guiding, asking more question. And by asking question, then it makes my clients think for themselves, come up with their own answers. And that's how I'm now nurturing my client, by supporting them with questions so that they can come up with the right answer. From time to time, I say, "Can I suggest something?" And then they say, "Yeah, sure." And then I open it and I say, "You can or cannot, you could or not do that. It's up to you. It's just a suggestion." So I overcame the fact that I always say, "Oh, you should do that. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?" That makes a huge difference in how my coaching goes now, and the result I have with my clients getting more satisfaction out of what they want to accomplish.
That's great. Thanks for the personal insight on, again, how can we improve ourselves? How can we take ourselves to the next step and improve life? And
Hmm.
I think that's key. That you build confidence in the individual when the individual makes the decision themselves, and they see that they can make good decisions and that the decisions are right. That helps them build self-confidence. And that's really what you want to do in your children, in your clients. You want them to be able to walk away with the confidence to do what needs to be done in their life for themselves. And so we did have a couple more comments come in from Facebook that I would like to share. So most adults don't know how to adult because they never had a chance to practice.
Hmm.
And I think what's key about that one is that we don't want to fail, and our egos get in the way, and we get embarrassed because oh my gosh, I should know what I'm doing. I should know how to do this. And we don't really allow ourselves to grow up and learn to be adults. And my daughter asked me the other day, because she turned 30. So she's in her next phase of life and she's pondering. And so she was asking me, well, what's it like to turn 60? And I go, oh, it's really messed up. you know, it is interesting that, when you turn 30, when you turn 40, when you turn 50, when you turn 60, you learn different things and you look back at your life and you go, wow, I was, I could have used some a little adult training back then. But so it's fascinating. And then there was another comment too from Facebook. You have to make it their good idea to make the change.
Hmm.
So Denise was really talking about this, asking the questions, have them come up with the answer, make it their idea so that they can embrace it. And I think, again, that helps build the self confidence. So, well, this has been a great show so far. We get a little off track from the question every once in a while, but we don't mind because it's all valuable information. So, the next up is keep networking. So, who should you ask for help when you are trying to increase protection? So, Denise, I'm going to start with you.
Hmm. Who should you ask for help when you're trying to increase protection?
It's a challenging question.
Yeah, okay. I would like to have the author come on the stage and explain that. Um, but when it's since the whole talk was about nurturing, so let's go on that. And and what I would say is not be afraid if you need help. Like I talk in when I do speeches and stuff like that and talk, I talk about self compassion, and so I'll talk about self compassion for myself. If there's a time where I have to, for example, I'm committed to do something, but I don't feel well, or I can't do it, not to tell myself suck it up and just get up and do it, but see if anybody else can ask. So have a tribe of people that could be there to that have your back, that can support you, that can be with you and will come up, without hesitation and show up and be there for you. But that needs to be nurtured also, because that's not a one-way street. If you want people to support you, you have to support other also. And so that will increase my protection in a sense, like my friends, my teammate, the people I network with, they're sort of my force field that allow me to be protected in a sense that if anything happened to me, they'll be there at my defense and they'll be right there to be with me and support me in any way. If there's a drama arriving in my life and I need to talk to someone, or I know I can reach
Yeah.
out. Especially we're here with MinkLife, and look at us, I know I can count on all of you, those that are behind the scene and the camera, and those that are there. If anything happened, I know they have my back. So when you nurture these type of relationship, you have much better chance to feel that when there's a drama or something you need in your life, you'll have people that are there for you and will support you.
Well, you did a great job with that. You took it away. So we did add a little to the question. I don't know if I missed it the first time, but who should you ask for help when you are trying to increase protection of those we nurture? So you knew the question. so, so Irina, what would you like to add to that?
the, my answer will be, first of all, everything that Denise said, I cannot repeat that too, so I'll skip this part to save time. What I wanted to add to it is, because we not singled, I know people, I have network, and sometimes I do see that my experience, my knowledge, my expertise is not enough to help particular person with
Hmm.
particular situation. But I have a network, and I do two things. One, sometimes I know exactly who can help. And I really, for me, it's so easy, so much easier to reach out to someone and say, look, friend of mine, relative of mine, colleague of mine needs help. And I know that you are exactly the
Hmm.
person who can help. Can I connect you? So that's one thing. It's much harder for me to ask for myself, but to help someone to get connected, no problem. I do it anytime I can. And the other, but this is in a situation when I know exactly who can help. But sometimes there's the situation when I know that this is definitely not my area of expertise, it's above my grade, it's something that I really can just mess up. But again, I have a network, and what I can do, these people, even those people are not in this network, I can drop this question in the network and say, who has this
Yeah.
experience? Who knows someone who could help with this situation? So, really, people ask me for help in a specific area because they know that in this area, I am more informed than they are. And my information, not necessarily the facts about this particular issue, but also connections in this area. So if I personally cannot really provide information, I can provide the link to information that they are looking for. I
Mhm.
can provide the link to the source of help where they can get it. So who you can ask for help? Those who knows the answer.
Okay, that's amazing. So I was thinking about, the different scenarios. So a lot of times, the people we are nurturing, something may be going on and we're not sure exactly what it is. And so I kind of rely on my daughters who have a really good relationship. When I feel like one is off, then I try to turn around and ask the other to give, to check in and see if they are okay, because they have a different relationship than mom has. So that's an opportunity. And then the other thing too so people that also know people. But then I think the other thing that is helpful is when you are trying to help someone, but they're not quite listening to how you're saying it, or they're not connecting with you. But you can ask them to talk to somebody who can get the same message to them, but maybe in a different words. And the fact that they're a different person can help. That so yeah, I always go back to being a mom. You have a tendency to be assertive and try to share consequences of their behavior and as learnings. But if somebody else, another adult or somebody else comes along and can offer that same insight from a different perspective, a lot of times they listen to them better. And I think from a professional standpoint, that works with managers too. So, as a direct line supervisor, individuals on my team wouldn't necessarily listen to the supervisor. But then, if they were still struggling, I, as the manager in the department, could schedule some time and be able to just maybe paint the picture a little bit differently and ask them to view things from a different standpoint. And and it works. It opens their eyes. It allows them to see it from a different view, and not just from feeling directed or attacked maybe by their direct supervisor. So I think that
Mhm.
third party works quite well. So, ladies, that's been interesting. We are going on to our next question, which is to gain knowledge. What is one tip for calibrating your life by focusing on nurturing? So, what is one tip for calibrating your life with regards to nurturing? And I'm going to pick on you, Irina.
I have an answer. My husband used to say, help is good when it's offered, when it's asked for. So, one tip, listen what kind of help people are looking for and offer exactly that. It's not Baskin Robbins when you show up there and you want the baseball nut and they will say, we don't have that, but we have limoncello and this other one. it's not Baskin Robbins. Offer the help that you are being asked for.
Nice.
Hmm.
Nice. You mean I can't go over and above what they've asked for? I can't share all my wisdom? That's a very good point.
They maybe will get overwhelmed if you start sharing all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Denise, what's your one tip for today?
I would say that in order to, well, while focusing on nurturing, is I'll go back to the self because I love talking about the self. I'm very selfish. Don't try to do it alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to want to have someone else support you and help you. Often our ego is telling us, oh, well, what they're going to think of you when, you ask for help. They'll think you're weak or you're not good enough, or yes, no, that's not the case. You can do it with the help of others sometimes you can do it alone, but don't always try to do it alone, and don't be afraid to ask for help. That will be a sign of nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself, so that other people are just there waiting to support you. Ask and they will show up.
Yeah, it is tough to ask for help. It's really a challenge. And I think one of the things that is beneficial is people do love to help. And so if you ask, like Irina said, in a very specific way, so you get the specific help you want versus what the person wants to give you, and if you build those relationships early on, then people understand and they don't go overboard. I think the other thing too is just in calibrating your life by focusing on nurturing. We do get a lot of joy. We get a lot of inspiration and reward out of nurturing. And when I went back and asked my kids, "What do you remember about me and my parenting skills?" and they literally said, "You were there to support me. You were there to motivate me and guide me and love me. And I always knew you had my back. You were there whenever I got into any trouble or needed help, direction. But you trusted us. You trusted us to make decisions." And I said, "What? You don't remember all the goofy stuff I used to do to make you laugh?" And they said, "No." But so the help that they remember, people remember, I think Denise mentioned it. If you go in and you see a clerk just loves eye contact, and watch if you go in and somebody's waiting on you and you really make a point of making eye contact with them and smile, just watch how positive that makes them feel. They're recognized. They're not just a person that's, waiting on you and taking care of you. They're a human being also. So there's a lot of ways that you can nurture throughout your day, throughout your life, and just make everybody else's day that much better. So it's been wonderful having my ladies here with me, and a wonderful topic. I love nurturing. So we're going to go on to announcements. So, Arena, do you have anything going on right now you want to share with us?
Absolutely. I always have something going on, and probably the best place to find what is happening is go to our Facebook group. It's called Diabetes 101 for Beginners, and see featured posts. So we have Diabetic Healthcare Expo coming up at the end of May, and where we have doctors and nurses and dietitians and different other health experts showing, well, not showing, talking about diabetes, how it's what people can do to help themselves, to manage, to get control over their lives. There are other places where you could find this, but Diabetes 101 for Beginners, this is the place where you could learn about my events, what I am doing, and where you can connect with me. So that's it.
Sounds great. All right. So Denise, what do you got going on?
Well, what I have going on is because it's spring, and I think it's important to, again, self-care is to not only clean your patio and clean your house, but clean your brain. So I have a little downloadable for you. It's a little ebook that's called Spring Cleaning for Your Brain. And in order to download it is tiny.cc/clean your brain. And with that, you can do an evaluation of what works in your life, what doesn't work, and then sort it out and eventually, and then decide what you want to bring back. So it's almost like, imagine you have a big garage and you take everything off the garage to clean it up because you can't even drive your car in it. And then you clean up the garage, you put shelves and bins and shelves and everything, and then you only bring in the things that you want to have in the garage, and you recycle the rest or eliminate it or trash it. And it's the same for your brain. That's what this exercise does. It allows you to do an evaluation of what's going on in your life right now, and decide what are the things that are supporting you, what are the things that are not supporting you, and how to incorporate new things. Because before, in the garage, you didn't have the shelves and the bins and the hooks. So you had to add something into this environment. It's the same with your brain. Sometimes you need to add support group. You need to have a course maybe, or a coach, or different things that you need to add. So the whole ebook is short. It's not a big thing. There's a few exercises in there. It will allow you to do your spring cleaning for your brain. And I encourage you to do that maybe a couple times a year, just to say, okay, where am I at now? And now that I move forward in my life.
I love that. I love that idea. That's great. Okay, I already bookmarked it. I'm gonna check it out. That is wonderful. I love that idea. Spring cleaning my brain because I need it. I need to dust off, get rid of some old stuff, and put in some new stuff. So, what I would like to do is reach out to those that are working on their parenting skills and want to fast track and not be stressed out. I think becoming a super mom or a super dad is really the key of what are you prioritizing? It's not doing everything, it's doing the right things. And so reach out, let's chat. You can find me at marilyn-robinson.com and let's connect and get to know each other.
Now we have your community announcements. Announcements. That's right. It's Monica Henderson bringing you our community announcements. And if you really enjoyed the show and you think, I could do that, I could be them, and I can be on the show, well, guess what? We want you on the show. We want you on the screen. So just go to minklifemotivation.com/live and sign up to be on the show. If you want to watch hear the show on the go, no problem at all. You can go to wherever your podcasts are, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, and listen on the go. Just look for Mink Life Motivation Live. If this conversation was interesting to you and you thought, you know what, I might need to take some action planning courses or to get some stuff done, we have all kinds of things that can help you get yourself organized and make life better for yourself. Just go to minklifeuniversity.com to get started. And if you are excited about Denise being on the show today, well, guess what? You can see more of her tomorrow on the show, as she will be moderating the show tomorrow. That is every Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is not Wednesday. Tomorrow is Friday. Next week is when you can actually join her on the show as she continues to have the conversation of calibrating your life. That is all for me. Back to you, Marilyn.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody showing up today. It's always fun to be part of Mink Life Motivation and do these live sessions. And thank you, Irina and Denise, for being here. And we say so long, farewell, until next time.
Bye bye. Thank you.